I hope stops everybody in their tracks is when the USA goes for gold. That's what they're going to do tonight. Reason we're not doing a post game, reason why we are here live at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time is the United States of America takes on Venezuela tonight in the final, the championship game, the World Baseball Classic. Bobby Witt Jr., Aaron Judge, Paul Skeens, and others have been standing out for the United States as they go for gold here tonight. The other night, LSU legend Paul Skeens absolutely shoved against arguably what will be the best lineup he may ever see in this high of competitive of a game. And Paul Skeens showed not only why he's the best pitcher in the world, but why he may very well be the best player, maybe ever, 1 year or not, to grace us in putting on an LSU baseball uniform. He is special. He's always been special. Tonight, the USA takes on Venezuela. We don't talk politics here. However, I understand the magnitude of what tonight's game means. I understood the magnitude of what it meant when the USA hockey team took on Canada. I understand what it means tonight for the United States. I understand what it means for Venezuela as well. Tonight, we embark on a journey at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time that we show where the best baseball players in the world hail from. You know, I have 3 loves in my life. Actually, I should say 4. But other than God, I have 3 loves in my life. My family, my immediate family, obviously, football, and baseball. And there's 2 things that I know for sure. The love for my family will never waver. But number 2, I always know that there's nobody on planet Earth that can compete with the United States of America in football. Tonight, you get to go out there and show why nobody in the world can mess with the red, white, and blue. It means something to me. I hope that it means something to you. It means something to me because even though I have no idea what goes on in a hockey game. None. Zero, zilch, nada. I couldn't tell you anything about the game. Didn't grow up watching it. Don't care about it. The only thing I could tell you about hockey is the flying V, what a power play is. That's my basic knowledge of hockey. Didn't stop me from watching the USA go all the way and take gold from a team that, quite honestly, a lot of people thought that they would be unable to take it from. Tonight, we cast everything aside. Let me say that again. Tonight, we should cast everything aside. Religion, faith, race, whatever is holding politics, whatever it is that's holding us back for one central goal. That is to take down Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. If you have a problem with that, then I highly suggest that you take a pencil like I have right here and stick it straight up your candy ass. Nevertheless, we're live. Everyone do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Every AYS Sports Show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Use your mobile device in doing so. We're grateful to be powered and partnered by our good friends over at FanDuel. Every single night I tell you to set your preferences. It is of my humble opinion that you should because, look, we're there to have fun. Don't do anything foolish. Look, when we were going into this quote-unquote gambling arena and bringing on sponsors, the one question that we asked FanDuel, how do you protect people that are using their app? When they told me, I was sold. Go to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. I, tonight, am taking the USA to beat Venezuela because I will never betray my country. I will never not bet on America. Ever. Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever get on my level. Never. Not going to happen. So I did place that bet with our good friends and partners over at FanDuel. Download the app today. Use your mobile device in doing so. And to set your preferences, go over to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. We got a lot to get into. We'll preview LSU baseball. For some of you that may or may not know, tonight in Hammond, America, we have a game with Oklahoma versus Southeastern. I will be keeping my eyes on that. So really 3 baseball events that we will be keeping our eyes on here tonight. Oklahoma versus Southeastern in Hammond, America. Skip and his team comes down to take on the Lions. We'll be watching that. The World Baseball Classic. Of course, we're going to be watching the World Baseball Classic. Tonight we'll preview LSU versus Grambling as well. So we got a lot to get into there tonight as well. LSU Spring Camp opens up in a week. We're going to talk about that. We have interior defensive linemen. As I told you in the beginning, we probably won't talk about backers. We will go to the secondary later on this week. Probably we'll have to do a specific separate show to hit all of those. But we will go to the secondary to finish this out before we go into spring. Tonight, you and I will discuss, actually coming out of the break, you and I will discuss the LSU interior defensive line room as camp opens up a week from today. We might even do that on Monday, just really depending on how things go here. But we'll definitely get to it as well. I'm very excited, very, very, very excited that camp is opening up in a week. We got a lot that we need to know. There's a lot that we need to know. You know, I have been, just for clarity, as I forgot to button my top button on the St. Patty's Day. By the way, happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you that celebrate. Let me say this as well. If your wife or significant other's not wearing green, pinch them. Grab a handful of them cheeks. That's all I'd say. With that being said, before we get rolling, and now that we're a week out, guys, when Sam Leavitt, just to kind of start this off here tonight, as we're a week away from fall camp, as we're a week away from spring camp, there's a lot of things that you and I have discussed. The thing that we probably have discussed the most has been Sam Leavitt, your starting quarterback, or what we intend, obviously, to be your starting quarterback. I think Sam Leavitt has confirmed to all of us, at least of right now, where his health status is. In case you missed it, you and I have been talking about for some time now that the things that I had been hearing about Sam Leavitt were that, from everything that I've gathered, from people that I've talked to, from people that I've reached out to, that it seemed as if, even though with the Liz Frank injury, that Sam Leavitt might be a little bit more advanced than where they would have normally anticipated him. Well, we've talked about this a couple of times. These little glimpses that we're seeing of Sam Leavitt, whether now today when LSU posted a video of Sam Leavitt and he's in there working out, whether it's him jumping over these little obstacles or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, these little hurdles. We've seen Sam Leavitt being very active this offseason. I think there's a lot of things. Number one, you got to come in here and prove it. You're getting paid a lot of money, sure, because that is what the focus from some has been, is how much money he's making. But number two, it shows us what we really need to see. There's 2 very, very hungry guys that are below him at the current moment that are trying to be number one. It also shows his overall status. And I think that is the biggest thing in all of this. When we look at Sam Leavitt, look, we got a long spring camp. He's not going to go through team drills. You don't want to get him re-hurt. You don't, especially in spring. But it definitely shares to me and shows to me that this spring he's going to be very active. And in that activity, how does he progress in that? And I think that there was a concern about that injury when he came in here. Oh, man, well, he's coming in here injured. Well, I mean, guys, by the level of work that he's putting in, you 1,000% can tell that he's definitely getting after it. And it looks as if, at least to me, it looks as if as well that he's put on a little bit of weight. And I'm not talking about bad weight as other quarterbacks that we've seen in the past year that is put on. So I'm very much intrigued to see what are we going to get from Sam Leavitt, number one. But number two, guys, his skill set is highly unique. his skill set and what he can do from a throwing aspect, from a running aspect, is highly unique. You add him with Charlie, you add him with Lane, you add him with Dane Stevens, sky is the limit for him. But it's a very good process to go through when we're seeing Sam Leavitt do some of the things that, number one, LSU's posted, and then me coming out here and talking to you about the conversations that I'm having. Man, it looks like that his status might be a little bit more advanced, and he might be a little bit more advanced on this rehab that he's having to go through after having to have surgery and all those things. And we've talked to even people in college athletics that have gone through that specifically. Good friend of mine, good friend of the program, Brandon Taylor, guy I grew up with, had that same injury. And he even mentioned multiple times and very confidently, look, man, Sam's going to be fine. Probably will miss some things during spring. They'll limit him. Of course, do it. But the things that he can go through, he definitely will. It's a good thing to see today that LSU posted. All right. Where is everybody watching from tonight? Corey Thomas says he's in Summerall, Mississippi. Okay. Chris Lomax says he's in Covington, Tennessee. The 901. Stand up and stand proud. Good to have you in here with us as well. JV Curry's in the 318. Shreveport, Louisiana. Stand up, stand proud. Good to have you in here. Joy Palmer is in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Pinehurst. Okay. Good to have you in here with us. David Bogan is in Zachary, Louisiana, the 225. Stand up and stand proud. And John Bro is in the 713 Houston. You know, I've told people this in the past, not that this really matters. I think I've even said this here. Houston, outside of the state of Louisiana, is AYS's number one hotspot. Obviously, because of engineering, the oil and everything that goes on there. But Houston, outside of Louisiana, is our number one hotspot on this show. So good to have you in here with us. Romeo is in Cameron Parish. He is in the building. Good to have you with us as well. And Edits King says he's in the 337. Lafayette, stand up. And D Lemon says watching from Opelousas, also in the 337. Good to have all of you in here with us tonight. All right. Quick sidebar before we get rolling here. So on Thursday night, we will be live post-game. Friday night, we will be live post-game. So I had some things going on this weekend. We didn't go live on Saturday, Sunday for post-games. We're not going to go live tonight because of the World Baseball Classic, but we're about to get back into it. So we've really only missed 4 games here, or 3 games here on post-games. So just a little bit of a service announcement. We'll be back live Thursday night, Friday night, and more than likely Saturday as well. So we hope to see you there as well. Share and tell everybody that we'll be live on the post games then as well. All right. Going to come back, preview a little bit of LSU baseball. We'll talk about the interior defensive line as we continue to preview those things through camp. We got other things we'll get to discuss. We'll go through some of your thoughts, questions, and concerns as well. Let me get to a quick break. Pay some bills around here. When we come back, we got a lot to discuss. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check him out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick.
We're back.
All right, let's get rolling here. So, LSU takes on Grambling tonight. As I mentioned earlier, Oklahoma takes on Southeastern. So, both games that we definitely need to keep our eyes on here. The team that you will face on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be in Hammond, Louisiana tonight. This is what I'll say about the good people of Hammond, Louisiana here tonight. Number one, I'm wearing your colors. That's number one. Number two, it's going to be interesting to see how Southeastern deals with this. Very much going to be very interesting. This Oklahoma team is very athletic. They're very good. This is a big week again for Oklahoma. It's a big week for you. It's a big week for Southeastern. So we're all going to be or at least I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that as well here tonight. It's going to be a good game in Hammond, America at the Pat, so we'll see what happens there. But let's preview a little bit tonight. So look, there are a couple of things. So we previewed and recapped, but we recapped what happened this past weekend. I still see some sentiment, some things coming out about what people believe about LSU and all those things. Guys, here's where I am. Where I currently am for LSU baseball is everything that has happened up to right now, flush it. Now, some of those things I actually don't want you to flush. Like, for example, the simple nature that you scored 37 runs in the last 4 games, I really don't want you to flush that. I think you need to really hone into that. Now, just as a sidebar, I don't know if Vandy wound up getting beat. I was going live as they were ending the game. But Vandy took on Indiana, a team that you beat and that you handedly beat. And they were winning the last time that I saw. So I don't know the final score there, so don't bean count me on that one unless you want to tell me in the chat. But you scored 37 runs the last week. That wins a lot of ball games for you. That's going to win a lot of ball games for you. It's going to win a lot of games for even this team. Flush everything that's happened. Start fresh. Because now you're in a true outright dogfight. When Oklahoma comes in here on Thursday, you're in for a true outright dogfight. And that's what you have on your hands. What you did on the mound this weekend, from a player standpoint, flush it. Now, Jay Johnson can't flush it because he's got to know who he's got to go to. Walks can't continue to happen. Free passes can't continue to happen. Because the truth of the nature is, as of right now, I've seen a 4-game sample size, even though like the week before you were really struggling. Did you kind of come out of this offensive slump? Did you kind of come out of this slump of not being able to and have the ability to score runs? Well, the truth of the matter was Stephen Milam, Chris Stanfield, Derek Curiel, and Jake Brown, the 4 key contributors to last year's national title team, well, they were the ones that stood up for you and helped. Now, that's not to say that that Seth Dardar didn't have a massive hit for you, because he did. You had a pair of hits from Zach Yorks, not that it didn't help at all. Transfers in the field didn't hurt you. It didn't lose you the series. I keep seeing that sentiment that's being pushed out there. I think it's not only wrong, I think it's dumb. But even if it is wrong or dumb, regardless, that part you got to continue to do. You're going up against a team tonight in Grambling that's not that good, with all due respect to them. You guys know that. I know that. And you just need to go in there and take care of business. Look, I've never really done this. I hate coming out here and say you need to go out there and run rule this team. But there are a couple of things that I want to see tonight. I want to see you continue the onslaught of runs that you've been putting up against a team that, quite honestly, is not that good. You know, Grambling's going up against some of the same opponents that you faced. And they surely gave Dartmouth and Northeastern, ironically, all that they could handle Those are two teams that when you were struggling that you faced off against and won. Can you take out some of the frustrations and lock in more than you have been? You know, the deer in the headlights look, we have to get past this as a team. I say we. They have to get past this as a team because it seems to me right now, more than anything, whether it's D1 baseball or our own local media saying whatever it is that they're saying, oh, the boo birds are coming out. There's no boo birds coming out. You can control all of this. You got to control what you can control. And the one thing that you can control is learning how to flush things. You committed error, doesn't matter, move on. You strike out the plate, doesn't matter, move on. You walk a guy, stop getting in your head, move on. Because the biggest thing about this team right now is not being able to flush when things don't go your way. Well, newsflash to everybody that's an LSU fan, newsflash to everybody around America, regardless of the team, and really regardless of the sport that you cover or watch, whatever it may be, shit's going to go wrong. It's like running a business. You know, baseball is just like running a business in so many different ways. You're going to have very high highs, so much so that you think that you've made it. You're going to have very low lows and wondering if you can make payroll, if you can pay your mortgage or your rent. High highs, low lows. But the businesses that are always successful, the guys that are leading the ship, they know how to flush the negatives. This guy didn't do business with me. I didn't get this guy to sign on if you're in sales. A lot of you are there. A lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the one thing that the most successful teams, business people, leaders do, they understand how to flush it. They understand how to move on. They understand how to go back to the things that they were doing that was giving them the level of success. Tonight, I want to see you go out there and run roll a team that, quite honestly, is not that good. It's a lot to ask from me. It really is. Because coming out and saying you need to run rule this team or do that to that team or do this or do that, it's not fair. It really is not fair. It's not fair in the sense of that in baseball, anything can happen. And I don't really care if you run rule them or not. I really don't. But what I do care about is that you start taking control of the season that, guys, we're getting closer to midway through. We are on that track to be midway through. You're already past a third of the season. This is not a good team that you face off against tonight. So the three things that I need to see: when something bad happens or if something bad happens, flush it. Who gives a shit? You can't change it. You don't have the green infinity time stone like your Doctor Strange and where you can go back in time and rechange reality. You can't do that. This isn't, you're not Thanos. You don't have the green infinity stone with a gauntlet and can change and forget time like it ever even happened and go and get that problem back that you just did. You can't take it away. You can't take away the bad things or good things that happen to you. Move on. The deer in the headlights look, how do you get past it? That's the number one thing, whether good or bad, that we need to see. Now, momentum is a big thing in baseball. To some degree, I want this team to start really focusing in on the positives. You got to start locking in on the positive things that you're doing. Guys, if I would have told you 2 weeks ago that this past week, if I would have 2 Sundays ago, if I would have come out on this show and I would have said, hey, you're going to score 37 runs in 4 games, you'd be like, shit. Did we score 20 runs against Creighton and then we just got absolutely hosed by Vandy? How did we do it? Regardless, you would have signed up for it. Can you do it again? Now, Oklahoma's a better team than Vanderbilt, bar none. They have a better pitching staff. little bit more chaotic, though. A little bit wilder. Their Friday night guy, their ace, their number one is the guy that you know very well, and a guy that will give up free passes. We'll talk about Oklahoma tomorrow. But regardless, focus on the positives, flush the negatives. The negatives do nothing for you. You know, I've been to a lot of like these stress management classes in my life, whether it be for work or regardless of what it was in the past or in my former past. You know, the one thing that I always learned about stress is you got to move on from it. You got to move on from it. It's not going to change anything. Big or small problems. What are you going to do to fix it? Number two, we got to see some different things in the field. If you want to start John Pearson at third, by all means do it. I think John Pearson deserves another start. So let's see what happens here at third. Stephen Milam has been fantastic. What are you going to do at second? Because Braden Simpson's not in and Seth Dardar's outperformed him. Do you want to go Ruckert halfway through the game? By all means, be my guest. Zach York, it's time to pick it up. Cade Aaron-Beatty, Omar Cerna, it's time to pick it up. Because the three guys in the outfield have been massively performing for you. Your outfield is what's kept you whole, to be blunt with you. Jake Brown, Derek Curiel, and Chris Stanfield, which, by the way, next season, you won't have. You won't have those three guys, nor will you have Stephen Milam to hold this team together. So who are going to be those guys that step up? Who are going to be those guys that insert themselves and say, you know what, man, enough is enough. In the field, you got to pick it up. Do everything humanly possible. But that's where you got to flush it the most. Zach York has too high of a baseball IQ to do some of the things that he's doing. Being quite blunt with you. His mom was a softball All-American. He's played way too much baseball for some of these lapses that he's having at first to happen. He's pressing way too much. And I love the big fella. I really do. I love the big fella. He's pressing. Set your feet, make the throw. You know this. This is T-ball, 5, 6, 7-year-old elementary stuff. Set your feet, make the throw. You have the time. Hit him in the chest. It's twice that's happened. Where you haven't set your feet and you've made a bad throw. You're too good. So you go into tonight after a week where you went 2-2. You went 2-2 this past week. You're one swing away from doing it this weekend and being 3-1. Because the only thing I care about is a win tonight and a win against Oklahoma. But the third thing that I would say here that worries me, that really worries me, is I've seen you emotionally be way too up and way too down way too quickly. You can't take this game for granted. Quite frankly, you can't take any game for granted. You know, unfortunately for me, early in my life, I was taught a very valuable lesson. You know, I was running one time and I heard snap. It was an ACL. And if I could get this big knee up here, I'd show you the patellar tendon graft that I had to get. The rehab didn't teach me anything. The work ethic, I always felt like I had the work ethic. So going to rehab for 365, actually 366, but who's counting? 366 straight days. I already knew that I was going to have to get to work when I tore my ACL. I always knew what it was going to take to get back. Mentally, I was always there. But I feel as if that sometimes teams take things way too much for granted. The thing that I learned the most, and that if I could share any wisdom with any athlete ever, You can't take this game for granted. You can't take it for granted. So these high emotional swings, like your Mulan, let's get down to business. When she's up and down and up and down, you got to be even keel. You got to be the turtle that's on the pond. You ever seen, a turtle. You got to be a duck on the pond. His feet might be moving 1,000 miles an hour underneath the water, but on the surface, he looks calm and ready. And no, I'm not really trying to quote Eminem, but if I did, so be it. Do what needs to be done. Don't take tonight for granted. You look at a team like Grambling, they suck. They're not that good. That is just the God's honest truth. I don't mean that in a wrong way. I really don't. They're not a good baseball team. They're not a good baseball team. Go and show us who you are, though. I don't care if you're facing off against the 1998 Yankees. The only thing that I care about is that you show us who you are. Are you going to be able to do it? Quite honestly, that's the only real question that I have. Look, I have goals that I've set in my mind tonight. I hope you only have 2 walks on the night. I want you to put up 7+ runs tonight as well. You do that, I'm okay. Because it would show that you continued on this path of the run scoring. It would show that whatever you've done over the last couple days, you've needed to do it from a walks perspective. No idea who's throwing tonight. None. No clue. Nor do I care. Nor do I care. Throw it over the heart of the plate and let them hit you out of the park. Don't walk anybody. Limit yourself. So, look, we got a massive weekend ahead of us. Tomorrow night, you and I will discuss at great length the series that will be between Oklahoma and LSU. You're in a dogfight. Look, there's so much season left. You know, everybody talks about the 2024 season. You know what should have taught everybody in the 2024 season was to never give up on Jay Johnson. That's what it should have taught everybody. The second national title definitely should have done it, but look at some of the comments you see on social media. You're in a corner. It's week 2 of the SEC. The perception has you in the corner. Fuck the perception. If you go out and handle your business Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, you're going to win this series. You're going to win it. I don't care what anybody tells me. Oh, they're a better team. Okay. You're LSU. You got just as much talent as anybody in America. That is the truth. That is the truth. Go show it. Don't take it for granted. Corey Thomas says Indiana did hold on at 5-1. Indiana beat them. I mean, look, man. The truth of the matter is, guys, you showed. Look, you don't want to hear this. No one's going to agree to this right now because it's water under the bridge. You don't want to hear it. I get it. That Vandy series showed you a lot of shit. It really did. Winning it, you want to win it. Winning it, losing it. Guys, the way that you responded on Sunday was insane. I mean, the way that you simply responded. We good? The way that you responded on Sunday was insane. Do it again. Then do it again. Then do it again. Then do it again. William Schmidt's going to have to throw on Saturday, so you're moving him up a day. Well, then you can move him up a day again because he's the best arm that you have. That's just a fact. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Carter says, Blake, haven't tuned in since the Lane Kiffin saga. Miss you, Blake. Missed you, Carter. Missed you, man. Glad that spring football is going to be here. And, well, in just a moment, we're going to be talking about LSU football as well. Romeo says starting pitchers need to be rotated out for sure. See if that can spark something. I don't disagree. Look, again, I said this last night. It bears repeating again just very quickly. Guys, coming into the season, I thought, and I've said this as much, I thought William Schmidt was your best arm in the rotation. I didn't think it was really close. Right now, through a third of the season, it has not been remotely close. I mean, it was very apparent to me. Very apparent. Guys, he's got I hate putting this level of pressure on a kid because he's going to have ups and downs. There's going to be a team that he's not on for and they get a hold of him. He's got number one pick overall shit. I mean, I really don't know how else to put it. He is that special. He is that special. So, I mean, like, guys, he'll be your ace next year. Because I don't think he's a draft eligible sophomore. So he'll be your guy going into next year. So, anyway, John Bro says Georgia was down 5-0 after 6 innings and just walked off with a 3-run home run to win 8-5. See? Baseball's going to baseball, man. Baseball will always baseball. Did y'all see, by the way, the game 3 with Tennessee where the dude thought he walked it off and then the guy robbed him? God bless, it's the most Tennessee thing of all time. In fairness to the guy at the plate for Tennessee, if you hit the ball 385 feet in left field, it should be gone. Georgia's baseball field is wonky. Always has been. All right, let me get to a quick break. When we come back, football talk. We get to it next. Stay with us. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotion. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their time. When your business, your farm, or your equipment needs fuel, you need someone that you can trust. At Crump Fuel, they deliver quality gasoline, diesel, and lubricants with honest service and local pride across South Louisiana and South Mississippi. From construction sites, marinas, convenience stores, and trucking companies, all the way down to generators and everyday operations, Crump Fuel keeps you rolling. Crump Fuel is family-owned and family-operated. With high-quality and dependable delivery, they're always going to bring that competitive pricing. Call Crump Fuel today at 985-229-4976 or visit them over at crumpfuel.com. That's 985-229-4976 or visit them at crumpfuel.com today. Crump Fuel, where they're fueling the Gulf South in the right way. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake title company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
We're back.
All right. I saw this. John Bro says the worst team in the SEC is South Carolina by a mile. Maneri, lazy hire. Agreed. And Paul doesn't recruit. The NIL era, he's getting his shit pushed in. South Carolina's in a bad way. And I hate it. I do hate it for Paul in a lot of ways. I do think he hurt his legacy. He definitely hurt his legacy here for me. You know, I'll never forget when Paul Maneri was up in the booth with Tom Hart, and I'm pretty sure it was Ben McDonald. Forgive me for not knowing, but I remember it was Tom Hart. And when Jay Johnson in 24, when Jay is coming off the 23 season, Paul Maneri's in the booth, and he says, well, you know, Tom, a lot of those players that were on that team were my guys. They were my recruits. Paul Skeens and Tommy Tanks were not your recruits. You couldn't get Cade Beloso to hit the ball out of the infield. It was Jay's coaching that got him there. You know who said as much? Cade Beloso. Braden Jobert. Who got him there? Which I saw somebody do a draft the other day of top LSU players. The simple fact that Braden Jobert was not selected by some of you from a baseball standpoint, my brothers and sisters in Christ, my God. Like I saw somebody take Gavin Dugas as an outfielder. My brothers and sisters in Christ, Braden Jobert hit over 330 and hit 15 bombs his last year here. Just goes to show you what people have recency or favoritism bias. Braden Jobert was that guy. I will never forgive Paul Maneri, ever, for that comment about Jay. Ever. He was a butthurt little man who made that comment to make himself seem relevant after he got pushed out because he led us down a wrong path. He would not have survived at LSU in the NIL era because he doesn't recruit, nor does he give a shit. I think he does give a shit, but he doesn't have the work ethic. So, guys, regardless of what Paul Maneri ever says, does, thinks, I really don't care anymore. To me, he's forever hurt his legacy. To me. I appreciate all the things that he did give us. Won a national title here in 2009, got back there in 2017, but there were so many times where he had better teams and he squandered them. It is what it is, but to me, he's definitely hurt his legacy. And I know a lot of people around here won't agree with that, but it's just the truth. All right. Let's move on here. So we continue on our path of breaking down each position group majority of the LSU position groups for football before we get into spring. So we've done a lot of these. I think we've done 5 or 6 already. Tonight we go to number either 6 or 7. Forgive me for missing track here. There are a couple of them that we're just not going to really get to. I've already pretty much done the linebacker room twice, so I'm not going to bore you with that one. Do I think we could? And maybe I should. Maybe we'll do it in the middle of spring. Probably, because I think that room is insanely talented. But we didn't do tight end, and we talked so much at length about linebacker that I'm just like, I'm not going to continue to bore you with talking about the same talking points of TJ Daugherty and Whit Weeks which quite honestly, guys, and to be real, I guess I'm kind of doing it right now, quite frankly, is the most experienced room in the SEC. Let me say what I just said again. There is no more experienced room in the SEC that has more experience than LSU at linebacker. Doesn't exist. Production as well, too. Tonight, however, we go to the interior of the defensive line. Last week, we did the edge room. Tonight, we go to the interior defensive tackle room. Now, I know this kind of got a little bit of, I don't even really know the word, pushback, kind of raise some eyebrows. Because Sterling Lucas is going to be coaching the edge room. Okay? There's a reason why he's recruiting the edge guys. There's a reason why Kevin Peoples he's recruiting the interior defensive line. With that being said, we'll continue to learn a little bit more about Kevin Peoples and his role, Sterling Lucas and his, and we'll get the lay of the land on that. To me, none of that really matters. The only thing that matters for me in this interior defensive line, if it is given over to Kevin Peoples, is I think they need a little bit of a kick in the ass. I thought Kyle Williams did arguably one of the best jobs of any coach on that staff a year ago. Legitimately. To talk about this room and the significance of what you need in this room for this season, we must go back to last. Quite frankly, last year, you got high levels of production and high level of play from Bernard Gooden and from Jacoby and Guillory. You quite simply did. None of us really thought that we would get some of the things and some of the play that we got from Jacoby and Guillory the way that we did. And we did. It was a high level of production and a high level of disruption that we got from a high level of production and a high level of really physical play by Jacoby and Guillory and by Bernard Gooden. You had some other instances where other guys gave you snaps. Don McKinley was a part of that. Bud Mathis was a part of that, no longer with the team. But you had a really surprising room in the interior of the defensive line. Coming into the season, a lot of us thought, because Brian Kelly really pushed this and it didn't go this way, that Don McKinley would take that step and be that guy in year two. That did not happen. The former five-star interior defensive tackle did not put the season together that I think a lot of the coaching staff, himself, or the fan base thought he would put together. But as we talk about the interior defensive line room, it starts and ends with him. Guys, this is a 6'5", 315-pound defensive tackle that must live up to his potential. You don't have a whole bunch of production that is in that room right now. Now, you didn't have a lot of production really last year. I mean, Bernard Gooden had a lot of production at UAB, but you don't have a lot of production that's there. You bring in two interior defensive tackles in Malik Blockton from Auburn and Steph Green from Clemson. Obviously needing them because Ahmad Bro is gone. Needing them because the three other guys that you brought into the interior defensive line will be true freshmen. Not that they can't play and not that they won't play. We'll get to them in a minute. But you don't want to roll out there in your main rotation in the interior in year one is specifically true freshmen unless they play themselves into that role. I say that this starts and ends with Don McKinley because quite honestly it does. Is he going to take that step? Guys, I am not trying to come out here and like belittle him, or I'm not trying to call him out. I'm not trying to do everything or anything to that regard. But the truth of the matter is last season, Don McKinley had 12 tackles, 2 tackles for loss and a sack, and that sack came in the bowl game. So you had 12 games where, quite frankly, Don McKinley was not productive at all. Now, I do think that they put him in roles where he was getting double teamed a lot and he was eating blocks. But even if you just look at the film, even then, he's got to be better there. He must. I think there are a couple of things here. Number one, I think his pad level, he plays way too high. That is just my personal opinion. He's got to get more flexible. He's got to get his pad level down, and he's got to get his hands out and up against guards or centers, regardless of who he's going up against. The bottom line truth is that Don McKinley is going to be arguably, well, not arguably, for me, is going to be the number one interior defensive lineman that I pay the most attention to this spring. We need to see Blockton. We need to see Green. We need to see Richard Anderson. We need to see Deuce Geralds. I get all of that. And it's not that I'm not going to be keeping my eyes on them when I have the chance. However, in given that chance, it is of my opinion that 96 has got to show up and show out. You don't have a choice. You have two interior linebackers that fly to the football and need your interior defensive linemen to eat up blocks. The problems that LSU, quite honestly, in my humble opinion, when we just ripped the Band-Aid right off, has had when teams have run on them the last 2 years is that your interior defensive line is just straight up getting bullied and pushed off the football. The reason last season or this past season, you were so much better, statistically speaking, than being 109th in the country under Matt House and total rushing defense to being in the top 30 that you were this season is because of how well your interior defensive line played and they held on the blocks, and your linebacking unit was able to do exactly what needed to be done to keep a stranglehold in most instances in the run game. Are you going to be able to do that again? Because Jacoby and Guillory, who gave you a high level of production last year, and Bernard Gooden, who did a lot of high-level things a year ago, aren't here. This is Don McKinley's time to shine. It's his time to shine. How is he going to respond to it? Again, this is not me trying to call him out. This is me saying, hey, man, you're a former five-star. This is your time to go and get after it. They need him to hit. If he doesn't, he's going to get beat out by Steph Green, Malik Blockton, Lamar Brown, Deuce Geralds, Richard Anderson, because those guys are coming. Now, before we get to the three true freshmen, I loved what I saw from Steph Green a season ago, who started in 6 games and had a high level of production when he played behind a first-round pick in Peter Woods. I think Malik Blockton and the same level of role of Steph Green, when given the opportunity, did a high level of stuff and played very physical. Those two guys will be difficult to keep out of the rotation regardless of who's starting. But what are you truly going to get from this true freshman class? You know, because other than that, I think those 3 guys that you brought in, whether it's Deuce Geralds, who, by the way, newsflash, just so you hear it before you hear it somewhere else and we get in camp and you start hearing it. Deuce Geralds in this freshman class is the talk of the class. By far, not remotely close. If you're on the YouTube members content last week, you already heard this. I highly suggest you become a member. Go listen to that segment. But Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown are coming too. And I think all 3 of them, quite honestly, there is a lot of thought from a lot of people on that staff that Richard Anderson might just be one of the better guys, not only that they've recruited, but might be one of the best interior defensive linemen that they've ever seen if he lives up and plays up to the potential that we know that he can. They're going to play freshmen if they're beating them. Deuce Geralds is very well might live up to being the problem that everybody thinks that he can be. Here's the thing about all of the scuttlebutt going into before spring. Ain't no pads on. And I remember the beating that I took when I said this last year. Guys, the truth of the matter about the offense and defensive interior offense or defensive line is all of that stuff is bullshit until they put the pads on. I don't care about how offense and defensive linemen really look until them pads get on, because you can't teach a level of physicality by wearing underwear. You can't. But they're coming for you. Guys, I think that, quite frankly, the biggest problem that you've had over the last, let's just say 5 years, is that you've had no consistency in your interior defensive line room. None. Zero, zilch, nada. You potentially have 3 guys that can be all SEC performers that are true freshmen. You have a former 5-star guy and a former top 50 guy in Steph Green. You have Malik Blockton, who showed that he can definitely play in the SEC. This room has the potential to be very special. They have the athletic ability, the fit level of physicality, and quite honestly, the coaching that can get them there. But I'm going to have to see you. I'm going to have to see you live up to any level of hype that anybody's going to give you. Don McKinley has not performed the level that he needs to. Steph Green sat behind a first-round guy and then transferred. Who is he? What is he? Malik Blockton was a rotational piece. What is he? How good can he be? But a year ago, we didn't know that we were going to get that from Jacoby and Guillory. And Jacoby and Guillory, with all due respect to him, I don't believe has the talent level as some of these other guys that are currently on your team. What are you going to do? I think that the biggest battle, because I don't really worry about receiver, I don't really worry about DB, the biggest battle in spring and fall camp, the biggest, is what happens in between the interior offense and defensive lines. If we come out here and say, man, we saw a run game period and that defensive line ate their lunch, I will be worried. The opposite happens, I also be worried. I hope that the level of competitiveness is at an all-time high, that we say, my brothers and sisters in Christ Almighty, we can't keep our eyes off of it. This room has the ability to be the most talented room, bar none, on your team. You have 5 top 50 recruits. You have 3 5-stars. Can you show me that you can play? Can you show me that you can play? Because if you can, well, then I think defensively you're going to be an outright problem, because it frees up the edge room. That frees up your linebackers. That helps your secondary if you're able to generate pass rush. Question is, are you going to be able to do it? All right. We got a super chat in here. It's 6 o'clock, and we got some things we need to do. Shaquan says, Blake, not trying to get all into your financials, but do you do well enough during football season to cover somewhat for the slower season of baseball? Fortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, yes. Football season is what is king. So it will continue to be king. So, and you never know what's on the horizon for LOAYS. You never know. You never know what's on the horizon for Rufino and Joe show either. I just have a feeling 2026 might be a big year for us. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace.